Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to Spiritual Discoveries with Angie and Friends. My name is Angie Abt. I'm a registered Lilydale medium, owner of Santosha Holistic, and I'm also an associate director of Fellowships of the Spirit, which is pretty exciting. So I'm here today with my friend, who is my sister, and I would call us friends, wouldn't you, Mel?
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is my sister, Melanie DeAeth, everybody. So Mel, before we start, I want to give people a chance to come on, and I know, I think it was like 2 summers ago that you came and you spent probably 2 or 3 weeks in Lilydale, right?
I did. Yeah, I
Yeah,
enjoyed that.
yeah. What did you love? Like, what was your favorite thing?
Well, it's a very peaceful place. You can feel the energy. And in fact, I planned on spending what, 5 days, and I ended up spending over 2 weeks. I
Yes,
didn't
yes,
want to go home either. It was
I know.
just the energy is just beautiful. The people there are just happy and in general and you just I didn't want to leave. I went to classes, I went to healings, I went to services. It's just ongoing. It's
I
amazing.
know. I also kind of remember you driving around a lot in my golf cart, didn't you?
I did. And because of that, I bought myself a golf cart now.
Ah, there you go. There you go. That's a good thing. Did you
Yes.
what did you love? Like you went to the stump and you went to all those things. What did you think about those?
The stump is just the energy around it is beautiful. From the medium, but all the people just sitting there waiting and listening. And then when you hear the messages and the people connecting to it and sometimes crying, it's just beautiful to see. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's so healing, isn't it?
It is very healing. Like I said, I didn't want to go home.
I know. I know. You guys are coming up again this year too.
We are, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping to take a class. There's an EDM class. Is that what it is?
NDE, near death experience. Yeah. NDE.
NDE, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Which actually, everybody, that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're just giving everybody a chance to come on. And I see, hi Julie, Brenda, hi Brenda, buddy. Brenda's my housemate at the house. Hi Summer, hi. Oh, Shannon's on there. Shannon, I owe you an email, and I'll write you back after this. Hi Sarah, hi Teresa. Teresa's on, and hey
yeah,
Michelle. Hey, Marianne.
yeah, we're
Yeah,
talking
everybody,
about, yeah.
we love to have you come on and say hi to us and tell us where you're from too. We love hearing that. So, and also, as we get on with our conversation, if you have questions, hopefully we'll have time for questions right now.
Right, yeah. This is a exciting time. I'm also live on my thing, and I just want to tell everyone my sister is a Lilydale medium, and we are on here talking about Lilydale, but talking about a near death experience.
Yeah. So okay. So the reason that we're talking about near death experience is because I'm wait, man, I'm looking forward to summer shenanigans, Brenda too. So okay, Brenda loves the golf cart too, don't you, Brenda? So okay.
I,
Sorry.
I'm
So
bringing mine. I'm bringing mine too. So I'll have
good.
my golf cart. So we'll have two. So we can have golf cart races and stuff like that. Just saying.
Yeah, we do. We do. That'd be fun. Yeah, we just did that actually. That'd
I
be
know.
fun.
Yeah, yeah. I heard
So
about it. So
yeah. Okay, everybody. So what we're on for today is we actually are going to talk about near death experience. And the reason we're going to talk about it is because Melanie, some of you probably remember this, but I think like a year and a month and a half ago, right, Mel, about 14 months ago,
mhm,
Melanie was in a
mhm.
pretty serious motorcycle accident.
I was. And
Yeah.
I like to start talking about it by talking about my son who passed away in 2021. And let me start with this. I grew up with Angie as a clairvoyant, and to me and my other sister, we were always like, "Okay, Ange, right." But we knew, I mean, it was real, and it was something that was really happening, and she was seeing. It wasn't something because she even didn't really want it. She was more like, I'm weird now, and we're like, yeah,
They,
okay.
they said you always have been weird. That just adds a little bit more on. But yeah, that's true.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
but the
because you really didn't, kind of like I sort of discovered I could do this. I know
Yeah,
now that everybody can, but you're right, and you've discovered a lot now of your own
yes.
clairvoyance since
Yeah.
what happened to you.
Exactly. For my other sister and I, we were just kind of like, well, that's something Ange could do. That's good. Well, even though she teaches and she's a medium, you have to understand. I mean, we went on our own paths, and it was something I'm open to, but it isn't something that I was able to do.
Yeah,
Okay, I wasn't clear. And I'm saying, you notice I'm saying wasn't, because now since this NDE, it's creeping in, but my first really strong experience was when my son passed away. My son passed away on a motorcycle. He took off from where we were and he went really fast. He was in a huff, in a mood. And 3 miles up the road, he slid and hit a pole and he passed away. I was second on the scene. I came up and there was an off-duty nurse who had been where he was. He was so far, he was just a dot in the field, and that's how far he flew. I was near his motorcycle, and she came and she said he's passed. And first I dropped to my knees in disbelief because you can't believe that this is really true. And then your instinct is to run to him. And before I ran to him, up and to my right, I heard him call me, Mama, Mama. And it was his voice. And I heard him so clearly that I knew he was in heaven and I didn't have to go to his body. And if it doesn't make it real, the fact that I could bypass my mama instinct and not run to his body and knew that he was with me right there where I stood, it just, I don't know, it was crazy. It was real though.
yeah.
And that was my first experience at piercing that veil or crossing through to that side.
Yeah, and hearing and knowing for sure. And you've had a lot of experiences we're going to talk more about because since you had the near death experience, you know that even more. And I have to say, like there I don't want to say that was good that you had that because it was terrible, but it turned out to be a blessing, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, you have to look at the blessings in everything that you go through. Now, I wish my son was still here on earth, but I know clearly that he's happy and he's safe and he's okay and he's with me. But I still went through the normal grieving process, and as I'm going through that grieving process and in so much pain and suffering, I was one day, my son was there, and I said, I wish I could just go to heaven and see him and be with him and feel him just one more time.
Yeah.
And that was a
Yeah.
week before
Well,
my accident. And it's really
yeah.
crazy. Was it a premonition? I don't know. I don't
I know.
know.
I know.
No?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know either. But okay, so all right, first of all, let's just go with motorcycles for a second because
Oh, okay.
you guys like it was a family thing for you, right? And you've ridden motorcycles for how many years?
Over 40 years. In high school, I had a boyfriend that had a motorcycle, and then my husband that I met when I was 22, I rode on the back and then started riding my own. I've ridden to Sturgis, my own, to Canada, California, Florida, the Smokies, and yes, we've ridden for years and years. To me, riding a motorcycle is a steel horse. It's just being outdoors and enjoying the fresh air. Yeah.
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 So, okay, so that day, so let's go back to it was April of 2023, and you
Mhm.
really hadn't ridden for a long time because you broke your arm, so you
Yeah.
couldn't ride. And finally, you guys were like, we can go for a ride. We're gonna go
Yeah.
out and have something to eat. It was a short ride, and
Yeah.
something not good happened. So,
Yeah.
do you want to talk about that a little bit, Mel, like that night?
Yeah, so my husband and I went to get a hamburger, just went and had a hamburger, and on the way home, riding just like normal, about 3 miles from the house, we saw a truck and it was pulled over to the side of the road, parked on the shoulder. And his lights were on. We knew he was there, but you wouldn't stop stop. You wouldn't. You just keep going. Well, as soon as we got close to him, he swung out and pulled right in front of us, did a U-turn right in, he didn't look clearly. And my husband, who we ride staggered, and he's more towards the center line and I'm more towards the shoulder. So when he pulled out, my husband went around and actually clipped the side of the bumper with his leg, but made it around, went into the oncoming traffic. Thankfully, no one was coming. But for me, there was nothing I could do, and I hit right into the side door.
So talk about, because so what do you remember? I think I remember you saying like, wow, that's not supposed to be
Yeah,
there.
that doesn't make sense. And it's slow motion. When you cross over, it seems like it goes in slow motion. Minutes go by. We allow them to go by so quickly here on Earth, but really each second is so important. I saw the truck in slow motion go in front of me, and I thought that's not right. And then I saw my mom come down, but
Well, wait
she
a minute. So you hit the truck, right?
hit
And
the
then
truck. And
okay,
I totaled, let me say this, I totaled the truck. I totaled it. I was going probably about 55. We don't ride fast. And when I hit that truck, I totaled it with my body.
yeah,
So it's to let you know how hard I hit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And so like I know we should have had Dale on too. So we'll have to have him on another time so we can talk about like he's right there. Yeah.
He's
But
here.
okay, so you were you remember so you remember like that's not supposed to be there. And then
Mhm.
the thing you remember was mom, which our mother's on the other side, guys.
Yeah, I forget. Yeah, all the little pieces. My mother's in heaven, and of course, my son that we've talked about are in heaven. So my mom came down immediately, and and she wasn't in body form. She was like a red color, that like just circles you and envelops you. And she grabbed me and she's in or circled me, whatever it was, but I just saw the red. And then I saw in print and I heard, "You're going to come with me for a little while, but you're not going to stay. Do you understand?" And she made it really clear, like I saw it, I read it, and I heard it. And should I keep telling, or do you want to ask something?
No, 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 no. Tell
Oh,
it, tell that.
okay.
What's interesting. What I always thought was interesting about it is you saw red, so you didn't see mom, but so she wasn't in physical form, but you had no doubt it was her. How did you
No
know?
doubt.
How did you know?
Yeah, that's crazy to me too. Again, I was open to it, but I'm not clairvoyant. I've never experienced it. So it was really strange to me. But my mom was red light and I knew it was her. I don't know. Our spirit, look at the other thing. How did I see? I didn't have eyes up there.
Yeah,
I don't understand it, but yeah, I knew without a doubt it was my mom.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's all in your mind's eye mediumship, so yeah, you don't need a body. That's how they communicate with us all the time, is that way. That's pretty cool. It's terrible this happened, but your experience is amazing. And I'm so happy that you're coming on, because I know it's hard to talk about. It's emotional,
It
but
is.
but your story is so important. Everybody, like the things that Mel learned in heaven, okay, were
Mhm.
pretty amazing things. So okay,
Yes.
so all right, are you okay? Are
Yeah,
you good?
yeah, yeah. No, it's it's emotional, but it's also something that's like been in me, like as I've been healing emotionally and physically for the last year. It's something that I feel like I'm supposed to tell, so it feels good too.
Yeah, I think so too. So
Mhm.
yeah, we've been talking about it for a while, and finally here we are. So
Mhm.
okay, so all right, so you saw mom, and mom said you're going to come with me for a little while, but you're not going
Mhm.
to stay. And I have to just throw this in, because I know this is something from before. No, I'll wait to talk about this. Okay, so anyway, so pretty much then you didn't feel the pain, right? You were pretty much kind of like right away. It's like mom took your soul out of your body and said, "Come with me," or you were out of it.
Immediately.
Yeah.
They get, and what's crazy is that, like, well, I guess this is another message that I have that I love to tell people. If you ever lost a loved one and you wondered if they were in pain, they weren't. They're protected. The angels come right away and they protect you when the pain is so great like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I didn't feel it. And I even saw myself at one point push myself over because I guess I rolled myself over and it was confirmed. My husband confirmed it
Your
later.
physical body. Yeah, your physical
Yeah,
body. Go
I
ahead.
watched myself push myself over. I wasn't detached from my body. Maybe once when I, like, almost died or whatever, but mostly I was still connected. So, your body is still moving, and I don't understand it all, Ange. You gotta help
No,
me.
no, thank you. No, thanks for telling it. But okay, so you saw, but you didn't feel. I feel like that's an important
No,
thing. I remember you telling somebody that had somebody that passed away in an accident, and they
yeah,
were worried that the person had felt a lot of pain. And that was when you were in the hospital, and you said, "No, no, let me explain that to you.
yeah.
Here's what happens. You don't feel it, and you know that for sure because you didn't feel it."
I didn't feel it, and I saw myself scream, because I was still moaning in my physical body, but I was up there watching it. I was protected. I was in that beautiful energy.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
So okay, so mom had you, and then what happened?
And then as soon as I understood that, okay, I'm not going to stay, and I'm already like, what? I don't know what's happening. She let me see my son.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
So
then
then
yeah,
her and Corey.
yeah, and how did Corey appear? How did you know it was Corey? How was that?
He
Talk
was
about
a he was a blue energy and, light and energy, and I just knew immediately it was him. But because Corey and his personality, let me say 2 things about that. The personality doesn't change and the energy doesn't change. It's that same what you felt of them when they were on Earth. And, I don't know, you just know who. Oh, and the love doesn't change. My love for my mom was equal or better and more the same as the love we had on earth. My love for my son was the same. So when you're reunited someday with your past loved ones, you're going to feel that same love. It's still there. And that's one thing. But Corey, going on back, I'm sorry if I bounce around.
it. So
um,
no, you're not. You're not. So you're perfect. You're perfect.
Okay. Well, Corey kept pushing his face into the blue so I could see his face. It's me, mom. But he was also doing it to make me laugh because Corey would always do that.
Corey
So
was funny. Yeah.
yeah, he was the blue light, but he wanted to make sure and he would push. So I would see his face coming
Yeah.
through the blue.
Yeah. And I remember I'll tell like the parts because you can tell the heaven, but I remember like that night, of course, like none of us could sleep, and I was on the phone with your daughter Jessica and with Dale and your son Colton, throughout this.
Yeah.
But I remember when I finally did fall asleep, Corey kind of came to me when I was half in and half out, and,
Mhm.
and and we were so scared and so worried about you. And Corey said, "My mom's having a good time, and I'm having some fun with her too. I'm going to keep her for a little while, but don't worry, I'm sending her back."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was like I kind of knew then. I was still scared, but I
Yeah.
kind of knew then that you were going to come back. He said that. So yeah. So
Right.
so how was it, Mal? Like how was it to see Corey and how was that feeling in heaven and what did you guys do and tell us about that?
I mean, it's funny. My most vivid and clear memories are on the side of the road. And then once they start giving you medicine and stuff in the hospital, it gets foggy. And that's why it's important for me to keep telling the story and reliving it and making it in linear fashion. But what I do remember of that time is the love. What heaven isn't what you see, it's what you feel. It's a beautiful, beautiful love. And it's so pure. Like anything that you had on earth that was negative or you know, um not good or that animosity maybe we have you is gone. You're just everyone is the same pure beautiful soul that we all are equally, and that was the thing that you don't want to leave because earth isn't like that. But I just kept floating between myself, my physical body and heaven. They would float me back and forth and they were teaching me things.
Yeah.
Mm.
Was there a part of you, was there a part of you that wanted to stay?
Yes, and I didn't realize this until later. They kept floating me back to my body, and I wanted to stay in heaven because it's beautiful. I wanted to stay in that beautiful place. And they kept floating me back and forth because they were showing me the love that's here. When people pray, they're accessing that pure, beautiful energy that's within them, and it goes up to heaven and brings the angels down. So all the people that were praying for me were sending out that same beautiful energy. And the angels in heaven wanted me to see how that beautiful energy is still here on earth. And that helped me to understand that I could come back or should come back. We need
Yeah.
to start accessing that more.
Yeah. And remember, and didn't Corey said some things too to you about that it wasn't your time and that you needed to go, and it was your choice, but that you needed to go back, because he said he was okay.
Yeah,
That as much as you wanted to be with him, he's okay
yeah.
in heaven, and that who needed you. Go ahead, I'll let you tell that. You tell it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah. No, I needed to go back. He said, go back, be with it's not a big thing. In part, telling the story is good, but it's the real reason that you come back isn't big. It's for the simple things of loving the people that are around you, loving your family, being there for my son that is here, my daughter that is here, my husband, and those people. It's very simple, but each person that you help is big too because it spreads. So it's small, but it's also big, if that makes sense. But I
about.
also have a memory. He told me about how he misses food, he misses eating, and he said there's things
Yeah.
on earth that you can do that you can't do here. And so go enjoy them. Corey loved life. If anyone loved life, Corey sure did. A good meal, a little wind on his face, whatever he was doing, he loved. And
Yeah.
so he told me to go back, finish my job. And he said, and this I remember so clearly. And he leaned forward because he would show me his body sometimes. And he snapped his fingers and he said, "Life is short. Go enjoy it. You'll be here in a minute. Just a
Yeah.
minute. It's short.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it
enjoy it."
goes so fast. That's such an important message because we don't, we worry about things. Like I remember you talked about that too. Like there's like don't worry about things and enjoy each moment. And right, remember, talk about that because you said a lot
Well,
about that.
yeah, and remember, Ange, when you came to the hospital, I was still in ICU. And what did I tell you?
Oh yeah, so I walked in, I flew down and I walked in so all right, so let's go back because Melanie's injuries. So when my mother had her, they had an ambulance come right away, and they ended up not taking her in the ambulance because they said she wouldn't have made it because she was bleeding internally. So they sent a helicopter, and by the time she got to the hospital, she had lost, I think, 40% of her blood, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that was because you broke your pelvis like in 4 places, right? I mean,
Right.
what were your injuries? You broke your pelvis.
Pelvis in 4 places. I think I broke my ribs. I had a punctured lung. I had severely damaged both of my wrists, and my arm was broken. And
Yeah.
this one was open, and yeah, it was pretty bad. And I totaled it with my body. So another crazy thing that's hard for me to understand. Yes, I had a full face helmet on, but I impacted so hard, and I'm still okay, and I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, we are very thankful for that too, Mel, because what was happening, so while Mel was in heaven, I remember I think I was on the phone with Colton or Dale, I can't remember. I was on the phone pretty much with you guys for that night because
Mhm.
my sister's in Texas, you guys. That's where she is. I'm here in New
Mhm.
York. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but I can remember like the doctor coming in and kind of saying to Dale, prepare yourself because she's lost a lot of blood, and I want you to be prepared because we can't find where the source of it.
Right.
and so we can't stop it. So that's kind of what we were hearing,
Right.
and go ahead.
No, yes, right. Absolutely. Yes, that's what happened. Yeah. And they had to go in and find that where the source, where the bleeding was. And they have to go in from your leg through a vein up into where those other veins and arteries are and close it. It's like amazing that they could even do that. But
Yeah.
it's a miracle that they found it.
Yeah, they did. And remember this too. I want to just tell a quick story. Last summer I was at the stump. At the stump in Lilydale, and I actually was chairing the stump, and one of the mediums got up and brought my nephew through, and then said he's talking about his mom. The medium said, Adariah. If anybody knows Adariah, she's awesome. And Adariah said he shows that he passed in his 30s. He was in a motorcycle accident. And then she said, wait a minute, he's showing us that his mom had a motorcycle accident too. And I said, yes. And so gave a whole bunch of evidence. But then she said that Corey said that he put himself in between Melanie and that truck. And that's why she's doing as well as she is.
Yes.
And you also, not what was
Yes.
amazing about that was verification for us, because talk about what Corey told you.
Corey showed me, and again, me not being a medium, I'm a teacher. I'm a diagnostician. I assess children for learning disabilities. This is what I do. And so this is new to me, but somehow he showed me like he was like a foam. I mean, I can still see it in the blue, and he showed me I got between you and the pain. He showed me. Yeah. And it was just like I couldn't understand. I was in ICU at the time, and he showed me how I got between you and the pain. So
yeah. Yeah, so that's amazing. And I love it that we both have gotten messages and readings. How lucky that I'm in Lilydale, and I work with students and we get to do this. From some of you, thank you so much, because those messages have been so healing. I always think that that's what makes it worth the risk. Doing mediumship and readings can be a scary thing, because you kind of put yourself out there, and you're saying stuff and you don't really know for sure, but I hate to say I know it's healing from the messages I give, but I know it was extremely healing for us and for you, Mel and Dale. And part of that too is because we got the verification, like all that stuff that happened to you in heaven was pretty much verified. A lot of those messages, right?
It was. And also the prayers from everyone praying about me when I was healing, those prayers went up to heaven, and I saw them, and they come down in this beautiful love, and they send the angels. And I remember an angel that was by my bed a lot. And I know she's a guardian now because I've seen her again. Because now that I've been there, it's thinner for me, so I can see some things. But she would, it was a different kind of person. It wasn't a person, but she had a face and she had a body, but her arms were like long, I don't know, long things that held bells and things that would jingle, and she would shake those over me the whole time. And I gotta say, I could have been scared, and I could have went, oh no, I've lost my mind. But I knew my sister's a medium, and she does these things. This is okay. And I accepted her love, and I accepted all the prayers, and that all helps. So
turns out I wasn't as weird as you thought, right?
Well, you could say weird. You felt weird. We were always in awe, like, wow, what a beautiful gift. I always felt like, I wish I could see. I wish I could do that.
Yeah,
But you know what? Now I know that in a way, if this is full circle to where now I'm able to share this story to people, the fact that I'm not a medium kind of makes it more relatable, because it's all of us. It's all of us, not just mediums that can see. I saw it too. I was in heaven too. So that makes it a little different too, I think.
It does. And remember you said that because if it had happened to me and I came back, everybody would say, uh-huh, we figured she'd see that.
Yeah.
And it's so much more significant that it happened to you because you saw it all, right?
Right. And double layer that with the understanding that I'm positive this happens to anyone who's in an accident. But if you aren't open to it and aware, you're going to have more fear of it and maybe not experience it in the same way that I did. I was
Yeah,
like, okay, this is, and I mean, I don't remember feeling that, but I know that in my person that I was open to it. So which
yeah.
is why I could experience it the way I did. So it's like a, you know,
Yeah.
two-way street there.
So
And,
no, go ahead, finish. Sorry, I didn't mean to
no,
interrupt you.
I just wondered if you wanted to hear who else I saw and stuff.
Yes. Let me just throw this in quick because we got off track. When I told y'all Melanie's injuries, I just have to say that when I got to the hospital, just to go back to that, by then, because Melanie was intubated and on pretty heavy duty meds and all, and I think when I got there, they had just taken you off intubation, and you said you kind of whispered like I could hardly hear. I had to put my ear right up there because your throat it was
Yeah.
quiet, and she said, I'm so glad you're here because boy, do I have a story to tell you. I can't wait to tell you everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as I could, and of course, I knew Ange would understand it the most, so I couldn't wait to tell her, but anyone who would listen, and also I could see auras still for, like, a long time. I remember I could see everybody's aura around them, and I would tell the doctors what color they were.
Yeah.
And that I told the doctors that because I saw how the angels come down and go through them and work through them to heal us too. And my doctor said, "Yes, from God through my hands." I understand that too. No doctors questioned that I didn't experience what I experienced. They
Yeah,
all knew.
because I remember that like the doctor would come in and you'd say, "Yes, I was in heaven," and because but that I remember like especially the one you had a lot of doctors. Like I think how many surgeries did you have? Like 20 surgeries or something?
Yeah, a
Like,
lot.
a lot.
Yeah.
But that one doctor wasn't he kind of happy to hear that story and to kind talk about that.
Yeah, he came, he was telling me, your hand. He did the most work. He's the one that did this hand, and thanks to him, I have a hand because it was that bad. And he came in and I told him, "You're purple." He's talking about injuries, and I said, "I see you purple. I see the angels come through you. I watched you say thank you for saving my hand. I watched you." And and I told him what happened. My mom came down and all the things that I had been seeing, and he's just stopped. He said, "I can have nothing to say to that. That's beautiful. And my favorite color is purple." And he
Uh,
said, "I believe you. I know it's true."
Wow. And
Yeah.
s- and so because the way you're talking about that, you said I watched you. So you kind of like you were aware of them fixing you in surgeries and things.
Mhm, mhm, and when they were putting so I would see it from there, but I could come back pretty easily. So when they were putting the tube down my throat, and they said I wouldn't stop talking either, and, when they were putting that tube,
Who
I
said
made
that?
it
The
through.
doctor said that when they were trying to intubate you.
Oh, no, I remember this. So I saw him putting
Yes.
that tube in my throat, and I remember, and I thought, "I made it through all this, and now you're trying to kill me." And I didn't know, and I thought that, so I was trying to fight them, and I was biting down on it and everything else, but they did drug me up and intubated me anyway, but yeah,
Yeah. Well,
I would
you had to. Remember you said too that when you were I remember like you said you were aware like you were in heaven and having your experience with Corey, and we'll talk about who else you saw in a minute. But then also I remember you said I kept making myself go back to the room because I knew how worried everybody was and I wanted to open my eyes and try to find a way to reassure them because I knew I was going to be okay.
yeah, because my son and my daughter and my husband were so worried that they didn't know. I mean, most people, I've been riding motorcycles for 40 plus years, okay? Most people that were in impact like that have some brain trauma. of course they did scans and they told my family I had a minor brain bleed right here. That was it. No, nothing else. And your brain shakes inside of your head and nothing else. But they were still worried because it's just not
Wow.
normal for you to come back from that.
Well, and you were in pretty rough shape, I mean, there were moments that they were saying things aren't good, but then you kept improving, which
Yeah.
was kind of like a miracle. So yeah, that's why we were
Yeah.
scared. But go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So
You
then they
were-
would have me
She
come
was
back.
I remember that part. Yeah.
It
Go
is,
ahead.
it is. I was on the other side. I didn't really, I didn't have that experience. But
Yeah.
my son and my daughter were saying, we don't know what she's going to be like mentally. She might never be the same. And I heard them. And so I came to my body and I shook my head really. And I'm in ICU. I'm intubated. I'm strapped down, because they're doing things, surgeries every day. And I was shaking my head. And my son came over and he said, "Are you okay?" And I went, "Yeah." Nodded my head, and he said, "100%." And I said, "Oh yeah." I didn't say, "Oh yeah." I couldn't talk. I was intubated, and I nodded my head. And he said, "Did Corey catch you?" And I nodded my head. And then they
Yeah.
knew my brain
Yeah.
was okay.
And then you'd go back to heaven. Like I find that fascinating that you sort of, because you said you were in heaven the whole time you were in ICU, about a week. So that was like the whole time you were in ICU, and you said you went back and forth, right, the whole time.
Mhm. They would float me over to see the people that were praying about me and keep me to understand. They don't want me to love it too much over there. They want
Yeah.
me to come back. So I
'Cause
would
you,
see and
yeah,
feel the beauty in all the people that love me here. Yeah. And then too, that my family would ask me questions too, and I would have to come back because they said, what's her social security number? We're doing the records, and my husband didn't know. And so I guess I was still in ICU, but I wasn't intubated. And I just rattled off my social security number.
yeah,
And they said,
yeah,
"How do we know if it's real? It can't be true, because look at her. How is she going to know?" And I said, "You want me to tell you yours too?" And I told my husband his, and they were like, "Oh, wow." So,
yeah.
yeah, it was like weird that I could come back and be very lucid, even though I was in ICU and I was strapped down and I still had things
Yeah.
coming out of me everywhere, but they would
Yeah.
send me back. Yeah.
Now remember you said, I remember this, like some of the things I tried, we all tried to write things down because she would just say all this stuff. But I can remember, like you said, oh my gosh, I have to tell you this, Ange. Healing is real. Like when you have people pray for me and you had people send healing, it's real because it's different. I saw different angels when you were doing that. I could tell when people were sending me healing versus say your guardian angel giving you healing. Talk about that.
Yeah, you could see like lights, but energy would go up from the people and come down from heaven and send the different angels that would come over you and heal you. I saw it and I felt it. It's mostly a feeling when you're in heaven, but I don't know. I don't understand it all though. I don't know. But that's kind of how I could explain it. It was more of a feeling where the energy from the prayers goes up. It's our pure soul. Imagine this, people. We all have this beautiful, pure soul, each one of us equal to the other. Imagine that. It's a crazy thought, but it's true.
Each
So,
one of us equal to the other.
yeah,
So really, we should be working together and
yeah.
loving each other, because you talked about that, because there are lessons you learned in heaven too, that's part of why you want to share the story, because there are things like about supporting each other and being kind. I'll let you talk about it.
Well, and even, everybody who's there, my son, he made his mistakes on earth, or whatever. He is the most beautiful soul now. He's just strong and amazing. Yes, they're still learning. Corey's still up there learning and evolving, but the soul is so pure and so beautiful. Each one equal to the other. That's all. I just remember feeling that. And all together, everyone's together. It's the separation of self that hurts us, that separation. But then we can,
What do you mean the separation of self?
like how we separate ourselves from each other and talk about this one's different than me, that one's different than me. We're not unified. Well, in heaven, we're all unified, but we can achieve that every time anybody prays, it goes up to heaven and comes down. And so when you pray, you think, how is that going to help? Well, they told us to, so I will. But believe me, when you do pray, it goes up to heaven and comes down, and it helps everybody. And I saw that.
That's pretty amazing. That's amazing. See, so we make a difference. And there have been things that you've said to me, like where I'll be worried about something in my life, or I'll be complaining about something, and you've said that really doesn't matter. And in heaven, that doesn't make any difference. Let that go. Let that go. Have the experience. Go ahead.
Yeah, that comes to where, am I the same? No. Of course, losing a son changes you, and that will never change, although I've learned to live with it. But this experience changed me too, where I'm a human still, but I do my best to not let the small things bother me anymore. We need to all kind of work toward that goal. Don't let
Yeah.
the little things bother you. Enjoy. It's short. I always see Corey, the picture of Corey, my son, leaning forward and putting his hand and snapping his fingers and showing me how short this time is and what a gift it was. And in the beauty of heaven, that they let me understand that to the point where I wanted to come back. So it really is a gift. It really is something that we need to find enjoyment in and enjoy every piece of it that we can. Don't
Yeah.
waste it.
Yeah, yeah, that's so important. Like, you hear that so much, like live in the present moment, and be grateful for things, and look around, and that's what we're here for, right?
Yes, yes. We're here to enjoy the moments that we have and enjoy those people that are around us and to help others and be kind to others. Every time you say something kind to somebody, it's good. And my goodness, the people that are being cruel and mean to each other, please stop. You're only hurting yourself, because you know what? We're going to keep praying and spreading the joy and the love. So
Yeah. Yeah. So we should all do that. I love that story about praying, and what a difference it makes, because sometimes you feel like you're so alone. And if you pray, like you said, the angels are always there, but we have to ask. Talk about that, Mel.
Yes, when you ask, they come. I mean, they're always there, but you do have to ask. You have to open yourself up to it. And the other thing that I learned, you think they're way up there. Nope, they're right here. They're right here. That's what's weird to me too. I didn't
Yeah.
realize. I thought heaven was way up there, but it's not. It's here with us. They're right with us. But you have to pray or ask them. Ask them for help, and they'll help you. If you struggle with something on earth, or you have something that you want to correct or make better or do better, or maybe quit smoking or something like that, ask. They'll
Yeah.
help you.
And they'll help you. They'll show you things or help you be in the right direction. Is that
Right.
how? Yeah.
But you have to open yourself up to it. And
Yeah.
and I never did before, I guess, even though my sister's a Lilydale medium, I didn't really do it. Now I
You
do.
did. You did, because you've always been a good person, and you've always been kind and done amazing things. Melanie also is an animal rescuer with her husband and the whole family. So you've
Mhm.
always done some pretty amazing things.
Yeah, I guess I'm more like a healer. So yeah, I heal the broken animals, and I work with special needs children. So I try to heal them too. That's a healing as well.
Yeah.
Children that have been struggling in school, I get to figure out what's going on and how best to help them. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
I,
so are you different now, Mel?
yes, definitely. I'm figuring it out though. It's just now like, would I come on here and talk like this? No, I've always felt like I'm a kind of a shy person, but so now I understand that, I do need to speak up and share and be strong and be okay and in tune with the other side, and I don't know, I'm learning, but yes, I'm different. I'm not the same.
And you know what, Mal? And I agree. You're the same. It's like still you, but there's something like, yeah, it's something different. I mean, I love listening to you too. And and I kind of thought like, wow, I'm a medium. I know some of this stuff, and I don't. Like now, I'm like, so here's how it works. It's amazing. So,
But it's what you teach, but it's different, like, to teach it and know it in your heart and people believe you, but to have experienced it goes, yeah,
yeah,
right?
something different. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it confirms it for you because it's things I've heard you say. It,
Yeah. Oh,
you know,
yeah, but I never experienced it, and you have, which is amazing.
yeah,
So, talk. I want to just say, so for there were times, okay, because I remember you in the hospital, like kind of like your pelvis thing being broken in 4 places is pretty scary. Which, by the way, everybody, I think she healed faster than expected, right?
yes, yes. They told me I wouldn't walk for 4 months. And then, of course, you have to learn to walk again. And I walked in 2 months. It was difficult though, not walking for 2 months even, but yes, all the prayers helped me heal. My pelvis is broken in 4 places. I have two big screws in the back holding it together and metal all throughout the front. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I got to start walking and learn to walk again after 2 months, which is really good. Yeah.
You kind of had to learn too, like to let, because you're a pretty in charge person. Our mother taught us that I am too, and you
Mhm.
had to kind of sit back because you couldn't do anything. Like you couldn't even feed yourself, and you
No.
really had to let like your family and people that loved you take care of you.
Yes, I did. Yeah, that was hard. I couldn't move. I couldn't use my hands or I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything. Yeah, that was hard. It was hard for 2
And
months.
yeah, and remember when our grandfather is a doctor, and remember there was a time that you were real worried because they were talking about your pelvis healing. Because I wanted to talk about this too, because the angels are there, but so our loved ones are too. They don't
Right.
ever go away. Grandpa Hewitt has been on the other side for 30 years or something, a pretty
Yep.
long time. So
Yep.
yes, yeah. So go ahead.
So I had at first they couldn't operate it. The reason they separate those surgeries because my body was so weak. So they put like what's called an external fixator on me just to hold me in place. And of course they didn't know if I was going to live either. So and I was so worried about my pelvis because it kept shifting. And then they'd put some metal in and then do something else to it. And I prayed and prayed, please, am I okay? And my grandfather, who was a doctor on earth, came down and I saw him and he put his hands over me and he said, "You're okay. It's okay." He checked.
Yeah, you said he kind of
It.
looked at it and he
Yeah.
connected it.
He
Yeah.
checked, it checked and and then my grandma, who was a nurse, was behind him looking over his shoulder.
Yeah,
Mhm.
which is pretty
Yeah.
neat to get to see them too. And
Yeah.
and this is kind of a funny thing, you guys. So our father, he was a funny guy, and he thought he was real funny too. But
Yeah.
I remember,
Dry
like,
humor. Dry humor.
yeah,
Yeah.
dry humor. He always said, "And when I die, I'm just going to be in the dirt. That's it. I don't want to hear anything else."
Yeah.
And it's
Wanna
almost
hear
like,
that crap
yes,
about the other side. There's no heaven. I'll just be in the dirt. They're gonna dig a hole, and that's where I'll be.
and the thing that's odd about that is I have everybody in my family comes to me and I get messages, and not so much from my father. Now I get them from my father, but you almost like kind of had a conversation with dad on the while you were on the other side that
Yeah.
I think helped it to heal him there.
I
We
think
should send healing to people on the other side too, probably.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's one of the things that's really interesting to me is because I saw him and he looked bewildered and he said, "I'm not in the dirt." So
Yeah.
finally he came back and realized I'm not in the dirt. And he's been dead for like how long? He's been in heaven for, I don't want to say that word.
12, 13 years, something like
Yeah,
that.
and so, if you believe that that's what's gonna happen and you're just gonna be in the dirt, that's probably what you're gonna see, you
For a
know?
little while, for a little while.
Yeah.
But you have guidance right there, yeah, to help you. So he thought that maybe he saw that, but then realized it was so much more.
Yeah, so he wanted to tell me he's not in the dirt.
Yeah, it's pretty cool too.
Yeah,
So
it
Mel,
was
let's read some of these. So, okay, so Rebecca, hi Rebecca. Love the power of prayers. I often refer to Damar Hamlin and his recovery, the amount of prayers he received, and the miracle that he is still here and back on the field. Damar Hamlin being the Buffalo Bill. Mel, you knew about that, right?
ye That what now? Say that again. I'm sorry. I was reading another thing with my glasses.
Love the power of prayers. I often refer to Damar Hamlin and his recovery, the amount of prayers he received, and the miracle that he is still here and back on the field. And
Okay. No, I didn't know that, but yeah.
he's the
Dale
Buffalo
I
Bills.
forgot.
Yeah, Dale knows.
I'm
Yeah,
bad.
but that's
Dale
really
knows.
true. That I agree with that, Rebecca, because I know about Damar Hamlin, and you're right. People prayed and prayed and prayed, and he got better. So I totally believe that. So we know that, like, sometimes you think in life, like, what can I do to help that person, or what can I do to help that situation, or you even think sometimes too, what can I do to help our world, right? With issues and challenges we have, and we can pray, and Melanie's proof of that too, because we pray. We saw that with Damar and with you, right? That you felt that.
Yeah, and Corey with his first accident.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with that too. Diane, you are both such special souls. Thanks, Diane. Thanks, Diane, buddy. I'll say Reverend Diane, because she just got ordained.
That's
So
awesome.
much love and thanks for the show today, Mel. Hi Shannon. Let that go and have the experience, how important that is. I'm looking through. Yeah. Does anybody have, like, I mean, if you have any, there's some new comments.
Any
Sharon
questions?
believes in the power of prayer. Yeah. Or people kept praying for Melanie too. Angie would give us updates. You're amazing, Melanie. Yeah, we got to go through.
Yeah, we're talking about my time in heaven, my accident, and the time I spent in heaven.
Oh, okay. All right.
They asked me.
So, yeah. Okay. Somebody just asked you a question. Yeah. Mal really needs to write a book to inspire others. Her experience is absolutely amazing and beautiful. And we've talked about that. And actually, my niece, Melanie's daughter, Jessica, is a writer.
Yeah, and that's full circle too, because Angie's helping me. Because, like I said, when you're on the side of the road, the experience and the angels that come are so clear and so pure. But once they start giving you those medicines in the hospital, it gets really jumbled. Okay, and so me helping to what did I say? We're putting it in linear. Angela's helping me to make in order that we can write a book. And also, I saw Angela up there too, reaching her hand out. She was like in a TV or something, and she was reaching her hand out to me.
I don't remember that. That you never said that. It's
Remember,
like
no, I did that. I remembered that. Like, some parts come to me but when we did that past life regression and I was meditating, I saw that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That's cool. You might have told me that. I can't remember. So, yeah. Well, this is amazing. Let's see. I couldn't. Oh, here's Carol. I couldn't walk for years because my hips got twisted out due to an adjustment that failed. She go back curiously. Hips are indicative of forward movement in our lives. That's true. When we get hurt in this area, it's often too much change in our lives at that time to stop. Yeah. Well,
can I talk about that? I have 2 hip replacements too, so that's interesting. I have to think about that. That's interesting. Why did I have that?
Yeah, that is brilliant. Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, we should have like a Zoom talk sometime about all this. So
yeah, we should.
Yeah. Any last thoughts, Mel, or anything else that you want to say?
Just as I as more I become more clear about it, I'll share more. And if anyone has any questions, ask me. It was an amazing experience.
Yeah, it sure was.
The bless in the mess.
Yeah, the bless and the mess, that's for sure. Yeah, that's a saying in our family, everybody, that whenever there's always a blessing in every situation. And our cousin Julie always said, what's the bless in the mess? I
That
forgot.
was bless in the mess.
Yeah.
I got to see Corey. I got to see my mom. I got to learn how beautiful, love in heaven is. And now I get to share that with everybody. The bless in the mess.
Yeah, pretty awesome. So thank you, Mel, for coming on. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you, everybody, for coming on and listening and letting Mel tell this. I feel like such an important story, and I 100% agree. Writing a book important.
Yeah, I think Angie and I are going to write it together.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody.
I'm telling someone I'm coming to Lilydale in July.
Yes.
We're going to New York in July. I just typed it back. It went twice. I don't know why. All right.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, Angie.